Yeah, that's not, we're gonna be censoring that, so I don't have to censor it in editing, because that definitely, now that I've watched the movie, what is on the cover of this definitely cannot be shown, because now I know exactly what it is. Although I will say, we are now over halfway through our summer of disturbing cinema. We're over halfway through, and I'm starting to fear that commenter was right, that Sallow is going to be the most disturbing film on my list.
It's a Friday once again.
Hello, my fellow freaks, and welcome back to the channel. If you are new here, welcome in. It's the summer of disturbing cinema, and we are now entering tier 5 on the disturbing movie iceberg, with Girl Hell 1999 from 1999, directed by Daisuke Yamanouchi. And I won't lie, I was very nervous. I haven't even given the warning about you guys yet. Hold on. I was very nervous to watch this movie. I actually have been for a while. I would say that I've had this on DVD for, has it been close to 2 years? No, it's only been a year. Shit, maybe it has been longer. Maybe it has been 2 years, actually. Anyway, that's besides the point. I originally was going to review Girl Hell 1999 for the little blog that I ran for about 2 years. I had a blog where I did movie reviews, and obviously an independent blog isn't going to pick up a lot of traction, but I was just doing it for fun, so whatever. But I originally got Girl Hell 1999 to make a review of it on there, and then I never did because I just kept getting too nervous to watch it, and I progressively kept pushing it back. From a lot of the descriptions of this movie online, it seemed like there was gonna be a whole lot of, which I guess right now would be a good point to put in a little trigger warning for you guys. This movie and everything that we are going to be discussing is going to involve subjects such as SA. I don't know how many of these words I can say. It contains incest, and what else? Is that it? And pee. It also has pee in it. Anyway, I was always very nervous to watch this because it's, from the descriptions that I read online, for the most part, everyone made it seem like this movie was non-stop. I don't have the background music playing. Why do I always do this? Sorry if it was too quiet for you. Professional over here, you guys. Professional. That's what I thought the entire movie was going to be. That's the point that I'm trying to get at. I thought the entire movie was just that, because that's how descriptions made it sound. However, for me, the moment the film started, all of my fears about this film being as sinister and grotesque as I thought it would be swiftly went away. It swiftly blew away in the wind the moment the film started. I could clearly tell that this would not be nearly as sinister as what I expected. But that's not to say that this was bad. I have so much to say about this film that I can't exactly fit it into a video. This film ended up surprising me in a lot of ways, and a lot of very, very positive ways. But first, if you are new here, hi, my name is STARGUTZZZ. Any crashing or loud noises or running like you saw earlier happening behind me, those are my cats. Also, my reviews tend to be more of a discussion of elements that are good or bad about a film, rather than just giving you a play-by-play of everything that happens in it. Now, today's film is going to be a little bit of an exception. We'll get to that in a moment. But usually that means I don't do a play-by-play. I try to refrain from spoilers as much as possible, but they will arise as they pertain to the discussion I want to have with the film. Now, if you want to go out and watch Girl Hell 1999, I don't know, I have yet to see if it is on Internet Archive, but from what other people's reviews of it online, from what I can tell, it seems like it's really common to find this movie without the subtitles. There's a lot of people leaving reviews for this movie who are watching it without subtitles, so they're complaining that it's a bunch of nonsense while not gaining the context for what's happened. I don't know if that means that it's just impossible to find this movie with subtitles online for some reason. Like, is it not on Internet Archive? My version of it, I got it on DVD through a website called sloppysecondhandsales.com. I will have the link to that in the description. From what I can tell, I think the English translations on the subtitles for this DVD are pretty accurate. There were no grammatical mistakes, and I mean, all of the dialogue was cohesive. Like, everything made sense, and it made sense to the context of what was happening in the film. So I would say that Sloppy Secondhand Sales has a version of Girl Hell 1999 with accurate English subtitles. So I highly recommend doing it that way. Anyway, with all of that out of the way, let us start this very I think what will be a very lengthy discussion of Girl Hell 1999. Girl Hell 1999 follows a young girl named Misaki as she encounters several tragedies and is exposed to the dark private underbellies of several other people's lives, going through living hell. And it's hard to give this film a brief synopsis. It's what I would probably like to call a symphony of sorrow. Some movies are just a symphony of sorrow, and that is their purpose. Everything about them is just supposed to be bleak and hopeless and tragic. Just like sad all around, tragic all around, unfortunate all around, just everything unfortunate, unlucky. And Girl Hell 1999 is definitely a symphony of sorrow. I think another symphony of sorrow would include Sallow. So it's a little bit hard to give it like a very good brief synopsis, I feel, because there's kind of a lot happening, and it all has to do with this like nihilistic outlook on society and life, I believe. Now again, as I mentioned, it seems like a lot of people online don't actually know what this film is about, and that is either due to poor translations or no translations at all, which again, why would you even review a movie that you don't have translations for? But I digress. And because it seems like there are a lot of misconceptions of what happens in the story, whether it gets lost through translation or there's no translation at all, because of that, this is going to be a moment where I break my rule of no play-by-plays. I will be giving you guys a little bit of a play-by-play of Girl Hell 1999 to help bring some context with what's happening in this movie, which a lot of people seem to misunderstand or misinterpret. Now, even though I am doing a play-by-play, I'm still going to keep it somewhat vague, like I'm not going to give you all the details, and I'm also not going to include the ending. I don't think I'm even going to include like the last 20-ish minutes of the movie, because by that point, once you get the context of everything else that's happening, you don't need me to explain to you what's happening in those last 20 minutes. You can figure it out. But I feel like the first half of the film, it's really important for me to do a play-by-play because these are the moments that get misinterpreted or misunderstood by viewers, it seems. So, let us begin this little bit of a play-by-play. What the heck is going on in this movie, huh? The film opens to two men discussing going out to assault women for the evening, but one of them is starting to grow tired of the activity, instead wanting to lead a more regular, respectable, and honest life. His friend shames him for this and also mocks him for potentially having a crush on a girl. After we watch this interaction between these two, we are met with our protagonist Misaki, who is bringing bread to a homeless woman named Barbara. This name is linked to some sort of English slang for the word hag, I believe. After this visit, Misaki finds her bike seat sullen, forcing her to walk home. Her friend, who is prostituting herself, and I'm gonna be talking about this friend. This friend is iconic. Her friend, who is prostituting herself, walks with her for a while and warns her of a weirdo in the area. When Misaki arrives home, the audience is met with the sound of is forced intercourse appropriate for YouTube, coming from behind a door. And it's here where we discover that Misaki's older sister is suffering from some very serious injuries and is being regularly SA'd by their father on a daily basis. And as this is happening, her sister, who I think is named Kyoko, but Kyoko is very steadily building spite and resentment towards Misaki as she remains untouched by their father and also refuses to step in and help her, basically. Like the stuff with Kyoko and their father is definitely the darkest part of this film, and I'm going to be talking about some of the film's tone throughout, but definitely whenever these moments show up, they completely shift the tone of the film, and they're definitely some of the grossest and darkest scenes to come out of the movie. After this, we're shown the two young men again, and the one who wants to change is talking about Misaki in a way that suggests he might have a crush on her. He mentions her living situation and how she takes care of her older sister after the injuries. Also how she volunteers helping a homeless woman, and he's very protective of using the word volunteer. He believes that she's a very good and kind soul who deserves someone to care for her and help her the way that she does others. Misaki visits Barbara again, where her mommy abandonment issues kick into overdrive, and she begins to breastfeed off the homeless lady. And a lot of people, I guess, found this disturbing. I thought it was fucking hilarious. This is one of those scenes that people found disturbing. I loved it. I thought it was really funny. I guess I'm just built different. I don't know. There's a brief moment where Misaki attempts saving her sister, but it doesn't really go anywhere, although the audience does get some more information on the missing mother in this situation. Perhaps even giving some context as to why she left and abandoned her girls behind with this monster. And trust me, we're gonna be talking about the mom. The next day, on Misaki's way to school, the guy who wishes to change comes up to her, handing her a note asking to meet on the bridge after she's done with school that day. Misaki tells her prostitute friend about the note, and she encourages her to meet up with the guy, believing that having a boyfriend could bring some light into her life. After this, there's very quickly and swiftly a misunderstanding, or perhaps just a lack of patience. As the man waits for Misaki, I guess he waits long enough that he begins to fear that she stood him up. His friend then comes to mock him about it because he doesn't believe the guy should change. He thinks it's pointless. They should just carry on their normal routine. So because he believes Misaki has stood him up and his friend is actively mocking him, they together decide to enact a revenge on Misaki for standing him up, which includes going to Barbara and beating and her. Exactly while this is happening, Misaki shows up to the bridge, also believing that she's been stood up, and she tears apart the note in response. Yeah, that is definitely some similar reactions to being rejected or stood up. Yep. Misaki returns home, and before going inside is stopped by a man pretending to work for the Board of Education, and he needs to talk to her in his car about college scholarships. Come to my car really quick. Once she's in the car, surprise! He's not who he says he is. He's actually the weirdo that her friend warned her about, and he's also the one that stole her bike seat. He has been stalking her this entire time. He apologizes by giving her back the bike seat and also a little dough for her troubles. Meanwhile, the two guys continue their revenge by ringing the doorbell of Misaki's home, and that's where I'll leave it. That's where I will leave the play-by-play. I'm not going to spoil the rest of this film for you. Also, as I said, this is just the context that you need to understand what is happening in the narrative. After this point, it's very clear what's going on once you get the proper context. I don't want to spoil it, especially the ending itself. I really don't want to spoil it. I don't. So if you would like to know how it ends, I suggest watching it. As I said, when the film began, the tone and the art direction of this thing, it was not what I expected at all. It was very bright. And not only was it bright, but throughout the entirety of it, it carries this air of being a made-for-TV movie. It has the video quality, the acting quality, the damn soundtrack, all of it. It all comes across as a made-for-TV movie despite its very dark subject subject matter. And oh my god, the soundtrack especially is insane. Just like 90s B-movie techno. Can I play a little bit of it somewhere, please? The soundtrack is incredible, honestly. It never fails to amaze me throughout the whole damn thing. I love the soundtrack. And also, upon pressing play, my very immediate initial response to this is that, oh, this is going to be a very cheesy B-movie in the best possible way. And low-key, in my opinion, it kind of was. The film was not nearly as graphic or sinister as I was expecting it to be. Like, I don't, just from people's descriptions of it, it seemed like it was going to be non-stop, very graphic essay. But that ended up not being the case at all. In fact, not that much disturbing stuff happens in it. Yes, a lot of the focus is on this very dark subject matter, and we do get some scenes of it. However, it's not graphic. It's also not lingered on. I think I'm going to be touching on it a little bit more later, but I will say the way it's handled in this movie doesn't feel like it's any different from any other movie, how any other movie could do this. I mean, for fuck's sake, what is that, 1923. I mean, for Christ's sake, I feel like the way that we see SA in this film is no worse than we've seen it happen in literal cable television shows such as 1923. And can I be honest, which this is going to get its whole own section, but a lot of the tone of the film definitely leaned more towards the lighthearted and comedic side of things. Like, it definitely gets serious when it needs to. As I said, it mostly only gets serious when Kyoko is in the picture. But outside of that, it's just like, man, it's interesting. It's just like cheesy B-movie, kind of goofy at times. Like, I don't know, I really wasn't expecting that from this film. I was expecting it to be so sinister and dark the entire time. I guess I don't really know what I expected. I guess I was expecting it to be as serious as the Kyoko scenes throughout the entirety of it. I thought the entire thing was going to have the same tone as the Kyoko scenes, but that ended up not being the case. I guess I was expecting it to be like a fucking Lucifer Valentine picture or something. I don't know. Like, and as I said, I was expecting SA to be way more of a focus than it actually is. And the purpose of these scenes actually also hold weight with the narrative rather than being pure explicit shock value nonsense. Like, they're moments that help propel a scene or a plot point forward, which I will be delving into way more extensively here in a bit. But before I get into that whole TED Talk, I want to cover the surprising, shocking comedy aspects that this film has. I mean, part of what shocked me is that this film has a lot of moments that just remind me of watching John Waters. Let me insert a little disclaimer if you are finding my channel and you are not a freak. If you're not a freak, it's very likely that you will disagree. You will disagree with me on the humor in these situations. You might not find them funny. As I said, one of the moments that I found to be funny that seems disturbed a lot of other people for some reason were the scenes with breastfeeding. Barbara does quite a bit of breastfeeding. It is mostly with a baby doll that she keeps and treats as her child. And then there's the one time that it happens with Misaki, and I don't know, why is the breastfeeding disturbing you? Why is the breast... It's the same thing with Barbarian. I had a friend make me watch Barbarian with her, and not only did I extremely laugh out loud during those moments, but I was there begging and praying, this motherfucker better breastfeed this person. I was praying for it. Why are people disturbed by breastfeeding? They just want to be a mother. Anyway, I'm digressing a lot. If you find no humor in a woman breastfeeding from another woman and there's like actually milk squirting out and it is very over exaggerated, kind of sexualized with horrible 90s TV movie music in the background. If you don't find the humor in that, get the hell off this channel. You don't belong here. This space is for the freaks that find that shit hilarious. So a lot of the moments that I am about to label as comedy, you might not agree with me, and that's fine. But I'm a John Waters fan. I think I've mentioned that a few times on this channel before. Big fan of John Waters. If you also love John Waters, especially his old work, I think there is, I'm not going to say 100% that you will love Girl Hell 1999, but I think there is a high possibility that you will like this movie. Now, I'm not gonna say it's like straight up a John Waters movie because like it has serious moments, and John Waters movies pretty much don't have serious moments, but this does have serious moments in it. However, outside of those moments, man, let me just show this diva. How about I just show you this diva? This bitch, she's everything. She's absolutely everything in this movie. She is Mizaki's prostitute friend who unfortunately doesn't get a name, I don't think. I hate that she doesn't get a name. I don't feel like she gets enough screen time. I'm obsessed with her. I mean, honestly, she is the exact definition of a John Waters protagonist. If John Waters did this movie, this would be our protagonist instead of Mizaki.
いいけど、これ別料金だよ。
え？だってどうせそれしてるんでしょ？
そりゃそうだけどさ、欲しいってやつがいいんなら売らなきゃ損じゃん。
She's just like a chubby, spoiled, bratty, but confident and smart prostitute. I don't know. She's iconic. I love her. I love her to death. She's my favorite. I need more queer people to watch this movie so that we can make her a gay icon. I need more people to know about this queen. I love her.
私もなんかいいことないかな。このまま何にもいいことなくてどんどんおばさんになっていくくらいだったら死んだ方がマシだよ。もうと一応15000円ぐらいを希望してるんですけど。
When we get introduced to this girl, it's actually the only extensive sex scene that we get in the movie. Like, her sex scene is the only extensive sexual activity that we see take place. And again, it's intended to be comedic. First time I watched this, I was uncertain of what exactly I was watching, what the situation at hand was. However, after my first watching, it feels so obvious to me. This scene is meant to be comedic. This is supposed to be an unserious, funny scene, and I think it definitely, oh my god. The scene where Chubby Girl is introduced is incredible. It is our only extensive sexual scene in this film. It lasts quite a good while. Definitely a lot longer than any of the others that we see take place, which involve essay. This one is at least consensual. And the Chubby Girl is very bored and disinterested the entire time, while the guy she is with is not only drenched in sweat. He's so sweaty it looks like somebody just dumped a bucket of water on him. And he is just like, he's so over exaggerated. Oh my god, this man is so over exaggerated. And so like, that's a John Waters moment. That is John Waters humor. Fuck you if you don't agree. And then a few other just very brief examples. That's my favorite example. I think that's like one of the best examples of some of the John Waters type of humor that we get out of this film. But a few other brief examples obviously include the breastfeeding, which I have mentioned multiple times at this point. But we also get a moment where breast milk is squirted into a guy's eyeball. And as I mentioned in the trigger warning, this movie does involve pee. How does it involve pee? I am so thrilled to tell you in which way this film involves pee. It is the consumption of urine. And how does it happen? Well, it doesn't happen, and No one's peeing into a cup, I'll tell you that. The guy gets I believe it's a catheter. He uses a catheter, puts it inside the girl, and drinks it straight from the tap. Fucking incredible. I'm sorry, I think it's supposed to be disturbing, but I think it's so my brain is tainted and I think disgusting stuff is funny. And so this guy drinks her pee and then just lets her go. And it really reminds me of the panty cop in Desperate Living. Yeah. The pee scene's crazy work. Let's move on. I feel like every single thing that I have shared about this movie so far makes it sound insane. I feel like when you try to describe this movie to somebody, it comes across sounding way crazier than what it actually is. Like, I think when you're describing it to a person, it sounds crazier than actually watching it. Does that make sense? But as I said, listen, my title isn't clickbait, okay? I was shocked over a lot of things with the movie. I was shocked that the tone is not what I expected. I was shocked that there was so much comedy that I actually enjoyed. And I am shocked that the narrative taking place is actually damn decent. God, I feel like I could make a way longer video attempting to analyze Girl Hell 1999. There's so many thoughts that I have about this film that I feel like are about to be very half-baked because I don't get a lot of time to write the review. I get maybe like a day and a half to get it written before I have to like move on to the next step. And so for that reason, I ask that you please just bear with me. I hope that this section remains as cohesive as possible. Some of it, like the film, might be half-baked. I'm trying to get a lot of ideas out at the same time and within a very short time frame because I don't want these videos to last too long. So I think Girl Hell 1999 actually has a damn decent story behind it, and that is part of the reason why I feel so passionate about giving you guys a little bit of a play-by-play of what goes on in it so that more people can receive context for what's happening in this film. It just seems like a lot of the narrative gets misunderstood constantly, and that's why I felt so adamant that I needed to get out a play-by-play of what exactly is happening. It just seems like it's too common that people don't know what the film is about, and that sucks because there's a lot of shit happening in this movie that I think is, I don't know, I think it's interesting. I have 6 pages of thoughts for this section. 6 pages of thoughts for this section. Get ready. Okay, so one of the big plot points that I feel really gets missed that I have not seen anybody else talk about is the fact that both the guy who wants to change and Miyazaki, they both are under the impression that the other stood each other up. Does that make sense? Like, the guy who wants to change goes out about his revenge because he believes Miyazaki stood him up. While he's doing his revenge, because I guess he lacks patience, not surprised with how unhinged he acts despite wanting to change. While he is carrying out revenge, Miyazaki is at the bridge waiting for him and then assumes he stood her up. Why is this important, Starguts? Let me tell you. A lot of the film is focused on just like what I said in the synopsis. It's a symphony of sorrow. It's just tragedy after tragedy, bad luck, unfair cards dealt kind of shit. The guy who wants to change and Miyazaki missing each other at the bridge is just, I guess it's just a further escalation of the nihilistic point of view. Somewhat of like this embodiment of a cesspool society where people just assume the worst out of each other, which honestly, can I be for real? It's not like that isn't how society is today. I'm sorry, but do you ever just notice how people assume the worst out of each other? How like kindness is just dwindling a little bit and people will just immediately meet you with hostility over nothing. People are so hostile to each other for what reason? I feel like that's exactly what this film is reflecting, just, you know, to an extreme level. And so when the guy who wants to change, I'm sorry I keep calling him that, I don't have a name for him, but when this guy and Miyazaki end up missing each other and then assuming that the other stood them up, what this does is it further plants the seed of You shouldn't trust others. You shouldn't have hope in others. You shouldn't have hope in society. It is a loss of faith in humanity when this happens. And it also leads each of them to fall even further into their hellish lives. And, you know, again, it's just the symphony of sorrow aspect, because we're looking at society from a nihilistic angle. Is this making sense? And so while we're on this point of like nihilistic point of view and seeing society as a kind of cesspool, there's obviously disturbing content in the film. I'm not going to sit here and say like, oh, it's not disturbing. The essay that takes place in the bathroom during those last 20 minutes, that's sick. That's sick, okay? But although it has a good amount of disturbing content, none of this content is without purpose. A lot of reviews say that it's shock for shock, but it's really not. A lot of the disturbing content that happens has a purpose in the narrative and in the message that I believe the director is attempting to make. Now, the message I don't exactly have fully fleshed out. I have a few loose ideas, but again, I only have so much time to work on this and I have so many thoughts in my head. But as I suggested, it does have a lot to do with the nihilistic point of view surrounding helplessness, exploitation, mental illness, the shady private lives of individuals, and then also just like people who are constantly dealt shit cards. Sometimes there's people who are just constantly dealt shit cards, man. And as I said, a lot of what happens is what propels the narrative forward. So for example, when I gave my play-by-play, I told you guys that the two guys enact revenge on Misaki by beating and Barbara. Now, them doing this, what they do to Barbara in this scene is specifically linked to how the film ends. If they didn't do some of the stuff that happened to Barbara in that scene, the film would not have ended the way that it did. And like, you know what else is linked to the ending is the one time that Misaki is standing up to her father and she gets some ideas about her mother in her head. Like, those are two instances that are a little more disturbing, that are directly linked to, like, it causes the film to end the way that it does. Like, the disturbing stuff, the shocking stuff that happens for a reason. It happens with a purpose. The only one that you could argue has no purpose is the very first sex scene that we get with Chubby Girl, which again is, I think, there for comedic purposes only. The narrative really, just in general, has a whole lot going for it, but unfortunately, a lot of it introduces things or suggests things and then doesn't fully flesh it out, and that really sucks. Some examples of this include that brief moment when Misaki stands up to her father, and then just in general Misaki's mommy issues. Now there are other little things that I would also like to see developed more. So I will say I'm a little bit sad that we didn't see Misaki fight back any more than that one moment against her dad. I think I understand it though, that he, I guess, put her in her place, you could say, and it could scare her into not attempting to do that again. I get that. But I think it would have been nice to at least maybe see her lash out to somebody at least once, even if she immediately apologizes for lashing out. I would have liked to see just a little bit more from her on the aggression side before we get to the conclusion where she kind of crashes out. However, even though we don't really get to see Misaki stand up for herself in the scene, we do gain something, and that is some information about Misaki's mother and probably some information behind her mommy issues as well. Which again, this moment, I believe, is directly linked to why she ends up crashing out the way she does at the end of the film. I think this mommy issue narrative, if fleshed out, definitely could have helped the film feel more whole or complete. I just wanted a little bit more. I just needed a little bit more information. I needed a little bit more emotion, and it feels like it could have been like a very whole and complete story with no complaints from me whatsoever. It just, like, it feels like it's almost there. It's almost there, dude. While there are many interesting characters, to say the least. While there are many characters whose hells that we experience in this film, Mizaki is our focus, and I just don't think much of what's happening to her is really gone to its full potential, like what it could fully become. However, we can at least make a few assumptions of what's going on with her from some of the home scenes that we get. In the scene where Mizaki stands up to her dad, we get a lot more information about the mother and how she left, why she might have left, and whether these things are true or not coming from the father. I think no matter what, they stick with Misaki because of how the film ends. What he says to her really sticks with her and it lingers. And listen, I don't doubt that the father in this scenario is an unreliable narrator, but I do also have to say that nothing in the film has proven him to be any kind of liar. Yes, he is a disgusting person, but disgusting person doesn't always equal liar. I do feel like it's possible some of what he is telling Misaki about the mother leaving or abandoning them, I do think there is some truth behind it. It is at least a warped version of the truth. And it does really make you wonder a few questions. First of all, I do believe it's possible the mother did run away with a coworker. And this scene also brings up a really good point. Why would a very loving and caring mother, even if she's scared in her, especially I think if she's scared in her situation, why would the mother leave and abandon her children, especially to someone who she believes is a monster? This scene really brings up a lot of interesting questions about the mom, and that's what I want to be expanded on more. I want to understand more about the mother's situation. I want to understand how much of it is true, how much of it is the father being a manipulative, gross person, and yeah, I don't know. After this scene, I think I did really wonder, because I did immediately assume, oh, he's not a reliable narrator. But again, the longer you think about it, the more you're like, the mother does sound really shitty for leaving. She did abandon her children with this man who she is supposedly scared of. Yeah, that's fucked up. That's pretty fucked up. I don't know. Maybe I'm built different, but I feel like a mother would want to escape with her children, not leave them behind and seemingly start a new, fresh life without all of the old misery. Not only do the father's words stick with Misaki, but I think it's very possible that these mommy issues started before she even left. In a previous scene where Misaki is bandaging up Kyoko goes on this whole thing about how she must be so happy that she, herself, Kyoko, is going through all of this torment and hardship, and Misaki doesn't have to endure a single damn thing. Not only is she happy that she doesn't have to endure anything, but she must be happy about it because Kyoko was the mother's favorite, apparently.
私がお前より綺麗で勉強ができて母さんにも可愛がられてたからずっと悔しかったんだろう。
Meaning that now that mommy is gone, mommy's favorite is being tortured. Misaki, aren't you so happy about that? It seems to me it's very possible that Misaki was experiencing mommy issues or emotional neglect before the mother even abandoned the family. And if that's something that's true, plus the on-piling of the words that the father shares with her later about how the mother abandoned her and ran away with a coworker, it's just no wonder that she has the reaction that she does at the end of the film. I'm very upset about the end of the film, but I also understand why it happens, because it's because of all of this, man. Like, there's so much shit piling up about this mother. I wish I had a little bit more time to really fully flesh out my ideas here. I think I would like to return to this film in the future for a more lengthy discussion, a more lengthy and specific analysis on the narrative itself. I think there's a lot of interesting stuff going on here. Unfortunately, I have to make my discussion as brief as possible because this is not like a 2-hour long TED Talk where I'm holding you guys hostage to talk about this obscure movie from 1999 that I guess I'm the only person who knows what's happening in it. I don't know. I think that I would very, very happily rewatch this movie. I think I would. Like, I enjoyed it. From my list so far, which after this we have 3 more movies to go for the summer of disturbing cinema, and then we can relax with something shitty to rag on from Tubi TV or something. But out of my list so far, Girl Hell 1999 has actually been the one that I have enjoyed the most. And can I be honest? It's too short. It's an hour and 4 minutes long, not including the credits. The credits make it an hour and 5 minutes long. It's too short, man. I think this easily could have had another 20 to 30 minutes of content in it. I would have watched another 20 to 30 minutes, especially if it went more into the narrative details that I would have liked to see, especially regarding the mother, or just like any more expansion on the nihilistic point of view to kind of make that messaging a little more strong in the film. I think part of the issue is that maybe that doesn't come across quite as well to people. I think there have been many reviews of this film that have been very unfair to it simply because of translation issues or just straight up having no translation at all, which again, why would you watch a foreign film that you don't have subtitles to and then continue to review it? How can you review it if you don't even know what's happening? Like, yeah, of course you're not gonna know what's happening in a movie whose language you don't understand. If there was no dub or sub for Martyrs, would you have said the same shit about Martyrs too? Anyway, I'm getting very defensive over this film. I think it's because I actually like it. I like it. I would definitely watch this again, and I do recommend it to people, especially if you like John Waters flicks, because everywhere online makes this seem way more sinister and dark than what it actually is. It's actually like a pretty good, decent watch in my opinion. I enjoyed it. Maybe I'm just warped because the past 2 weeks I've had to watch Lucifer Valentine, and again, it seems like a lot of people are shocked with the things that happen in it, and man, it really seems like the shock or disturbing factor will override even a really good movie. It like polarizes an audience too much, and that's all they can focus on instead of what's actually taking place. And if you focus on what's actually taking place, a lot of the disturbing content in this film serves a purpose. It's not just senseless. There's a purpose of it to the narrative. Like I said, I'd really love to return to this movie, probably maybe talk about it in a video again. Let me know if that's something you'd be interested in, because I would love to take a long time to actually sit and have a little bit more cohesive, organized thoughts of an analysis of this narrative. I don't know. It's really cool. I like it. Now it is time for me to place it within its tier. I kind of struggled at first. I'm gonna tell you, I really fought between B and C tier. Girl Hell 1999 will be going within the B tier category because I think I enjoyed it that much. And here's what's really solidified my decision. I was initially going to put it into the C tier, but I thought about, okay, hypothetically, if this film could be revised, and it was revised to fit the little nitpicky things that I think could be improved about it. If it was revised to fit that, I don't think it would be bumped up to a B for me. I think it would be bumped up to an A. So if just the little narrative things that I would like to see more of is what's keeping this film from being an A tier, then I don't think it deserves to be in the C tier. It's definitely B tier movie. If you're mad about that, womp womp. I enjoyed it, but then again, I'm a freak, and as I said, some of the things that disturbed people about this movie, such as the breastfeeding and the urine, a lot of those things that ended up disturbing people, I just really got a kick out of. And like, the movie is worth it just for this queen, for this absolute icon. I love her so much. Editor Rachel here really quick, because I forgot to put it in the video. I am aware that Daisuke Yamanochi has made another horror movie that's a little bit more well known than Girl Hell, which is called Red Room. I do have that on my watch list. It will be watched and reviewed for this channel. And with that, we are done with yet another movie review this week. Thank you guys so much for staying all the way until the very end. If you like this video, please make sure that you stab that like button. It is a free and easy way to help support this channel, and it is very much appreciated. If you would like to see me ramble about more movies, especially disturbing cinema, obscure cinema, B movies, cheesy movies, please consider hitting that subscribe button and the bell icon so you can be notified when I make a new upload. And new movie reviews typically come out every Friday at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We have 3 more movies for the summer of disturbing cinema, and then we can get back to some regularly scheduled programming where it's a little bit more split up between disturbing stuff, goofy stuff, serious modern stuff. I like to switch it up a little bit. I don't like to just do all one thing, but I wanted to do it for the summer because it seems like a fun idea, and I had this whole concept, blah blah blah. Next week is going to be Mei-chan's daily life, and let me tell you that I'm actually expecting to maybe like this one. It seems like it actually has a story going on in it, and it's a very interesting story as well. It's also based off of a manga, and I've already looked, trust me, I've already looked, because if I could find an English version of the manga online somewhere, I 100% would read it. But it seems like it's even hard enough to find it in the original Japanese format anyway, so I don't think that's gonna happen, unfortunately, as much as I would like for it to. But I'm actually expecting to like Mei-chan's daily life. The last movie that I'm really concerned about is Tumbling Doll of Flesh, which will be after it, and then our final film to finish us out is going to be another infamous one. It is going to be Guinea Pig, The Devil's Experiment, so long as it actually works on Internet Archive and everything. If it doesn't, I don't know. I'll do something goofy to finish this off, like Tusk. Anyway, on the screen are some social medias that you can find me at. I sometimes go live, but it is not very often. Keep up to date with my Instagram story. I will post on there anytime that I go live, and live VODs will be uploaded to the live YouTube channel. Again, just one final thank you so much for making it all the way to the end of this video. Our time here is precious, and the fact that you have used your time to sit here and watch me ramble about how actually amazing this disturbing film is. Thank you so much. Your time is very much appreciated. Thank you for spending your time with me. If I do not see you in any Instagram posts or any live streams, I will see you in next week's video. But until then, please have a good night and stay safe out there.
悲鳴の一つを上げてみろ！
あんたも私のおしっこ飲みたいの？